One of the benefits of running over 300 games a year is that I see a lot of different builds. But when this one floated across my Dungeon Master screen, I gotta admit, I was a little bit dubious. Frankly, it seemed too good to be true. But sure enough, the best Barbarian build for tanking that I've ever seen is a Valley Girl Elven Archer. A hands down, mechanically awesome Barbarian tanking build that hits its stride by level 3 and allows a wide variety of choice before you even hit the 3rd tier. Count me in.
Hey friends, my name's Timothy, though some people do call me Tim. I'm a professional dungeon master, and here on my channel I'll help you improve your game of Dungeons and Dragons. Let's get to it.
First and foremost, we may need to define tanking a little bit in order to talk about this class build. Traditionally, 5th edition has had a bit of a struggle when it comes to tanking in Dungeons & Dragons, simply because the concept is to become really, really tough and hard to harm while also being the guy that takes those hits upon yourself. Barbarians serve really well in these roles as a general thing because their ability to recklessly attack tempts their opponents into striking at them, while their huge pool of hit points and their rage's ability to reduce the damage that they're taking offsets the attacks that are thrown their way. However, when we really look down at what tanking is supposed to do, the definition that we're working with here is that it controls an enemy's behavior in a way that is detrimental to them and that it reduces the amount of damage taken by the party as a whole. The two subclasses of Barbarian that are best known for their ability to perform these functions are the Totem Warrior Barbarian, with the Bear Warrior's ability to take half damage from all types of damage except for Psychic, unless you're a Kalashtar, and the Ancestral Guardian, with its 3rd level feature that during a rage creates spectral adversaries that causes disadvantage on attacks against any of your teammates and provides those teammates with resistance to the damage caused. However, a deep dive into the Ancestral Protector's ability is what is the basis for our build today. According to that ability, starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, spectral warriors appear when you enter your rage. While you're raging, the first creature you hit with an attack on your turn becomes the target of the warriors, which hinder its attacks. Until the start of your next turn, that target has disadvantage on any attack roll that isn't against you, and when the target hits a creature other than you with an attack, that creature has resistance to the damage dealt by the attack. The effect on the target ends early if your rage ends. So far, that's all just as advertised. However, there is a key word that is missing in this description. It specifically says when you hit with an attack, and it does not specify that that attack has to be a melee weapon. Hence, if we build out the Ancestral Guardian with a bow, while raging we can inflict this condition upon foes who are too far away to be able to reasonably reach us. This means that we can force them to either attack our friends with disadvantage on the attack roll and resistance to the damage that they cause, as we continuously backpedal and utilize terrain to force them around, thus potentially offering opportunity attacks to our allies and wasting our target's action economy. If they do happen to catch up to us, we still have resistance to physical damage and a huge hit point pool, and can more than hold our own in melee combat. With a finesse weapon as a backup option, you can still utilize your dexterity for melee combat with a Barbarian. You simply can't use reckless attacks or gain the extra rage damage. This can be a small price to pay for increasing your chances to hit, or you can utilize your strength and reckless attack in order to increase the odds that you land your debuff if you happen to have a decent enough strength score. Throw in the possibility of being an elf with elven precision, and if you can get advantage in some fashion, you can reliably land your attacks from a distance with even greater likelihood of success. At 5th level, as a Barbarian, you gain extra attack, which gives you an additional chance to land that all-important shot to apply your debuff. And at 6th level, your rage is enhanced even further, allowing you to remove damage from targets that are struck within 30 feet of you as a reaction. This means that not only is your opponent getting disadvantage on the attack roll and having resistance applied to the damage that they dealt, but then you might reduce it by 2d6 more, potentially negating attacks entirely while you're skirting 30 feet back from your allies on the opposite side from where the enemy is, playing a weird sort of game of piggy in the middle with your friend. After 6th 6th level, everything about this build becomes essentially optional, though the 7th level Barbarian ability to get advantage on initiative rolls when dexterity is already going to be your primary statistic is hard to pass up. Because of the unarmored defense ability of the Barbarian, dexterity and constitution should be your primaries, giving you a big pool of hit points and a high armor class. After level 7, going one level more to level 8 is very tempting in order to get another all-important ASI or feat. But from 9th level onward, the Barbarian is pretty much designed to help regular barbarians, and the only benefit you would gain by single classing your way through this would be some statistical stuff at the really late game and increasing the power of your spirit shield. That said, that's probably why this build is one of my favorites, because from 8th level onwards, you can start multiclassing out into a number of different powerful options. Some of my favorites include Fighter and Rogue. By taking levels in Rogue, you gain additional mobility at 2nd level from the Cutting Strikes feature, sneak attack damage added to your bow strikes, and can get at 3rd level steady aim in order to guarantee that your Elvish Archer is getting that advantage they need from the backfield. Similarly, there's a ton of different subclasses to choose from that would add extra cool options and flavor. My other favorite is to go Fighter. Aside from the awesomeness of Action Surge when you need to guarantee that you've landed your debuff for the round, you can also take this dip into things like Battle Master for tons of repeatable options recharging on short rests, Echo Knight to be able to shoot from different locations, or even take opportunity attacks with a weapon hastily drawn at the end of a turn to match your bow, or unleashing Incarnation simply to continue to lay on the number of attacks. But if that doesn't sound good to you, tell me what's better. I'd love to hear your opinion because there's always another one. Thanks for watching, happy adventuring, and rage on, friends.